Hi there, I'm Tracy Townsend, and I will be bringing you through this week's top stories from around Columbus. This week, city leaders addressed reports of federal law enforcement operations in Columbus. Community leaders heard concerns from several neighbors and called for an emergency meeting to calm the growing fears. For the first time in nearly 10 years, the city of Columbus is on pace to record fewer than 100 homicides for the year. The mothers of murdered Columbus children reflect on the effort to reduce crime in our city. And there is a heartwarming twist on a road trip mishap. A couple visiting family in Columbus were afraid that they'd forever lost a wedding ring after it slipped away at a rest stop. But what happened next turned their trip into a story they're going to be telling for years. Let's dive into these stories and more making headlines around our city.
Right now at 11, some concerned residents held an emergency meeting tonight after reports of increased federal immigration activity here in Columbus.
Well, city officials say they were not given advance notice about this, and they're emphasizing the city is not assisting in those operations. 10 TV's Libby Cathy has been following this story all day long. Libby?
Yeah, Yolanda, Jeff, that activity sparking fear for some we spoke with today and questions about what role, if any, the city plays in this.
The concern and the worry is real problematic. They want to create a fear, so I don't want my kids to see that.
Inside a Columbus community center, dozens of concerned residents gathering after city leaders confirmed Thursday a ramp-up of federal immigration operations in town. Leaders from Horizon Schools say they saw federal activity earlier in the day.
We did have ICE agents in one of our parking lots today. They did confront 2 of our employees.
Parents are afraid to come to our schools, but we do have lots of safety procedures in place and protocols in place. Your students are safe in our school. No one will go past me. I know I'm little, but I'm Jewish.
After those stops happened, we met with admin team. We came up with the plans. We called additional security officers to the building.
10 TV News has not independently confirmed these reports and continues to reach out to Immigration, Customs and Enforcement and Homeland Security. Columbus leaders stress the city is not aiding the efforts.
And while some may say they're here to make Columbus safer, the fact is Columbus is already safe. We have not asked for and do not need this unwelcome intervention.
Telling me they did not receive any advance notice.
Obviously, it's not a good place to be in. We would love to know what's going on, but then again, we talk about the fact that we don't work collaboratively with them. We're not going to be part of their operations.
And pointing to a 2017 executive order saying Columbus will not use city resources to help ICE unless criminal activity is involved.
This means that we will not aid investigations into Columbus residents solely based on their immigration status. Our city will not be a vehicle for discrimination or fear.
At least one city council member says the timing is no accident.
We're heading into the holiday season. This was deliberate. This is when people knew you would be out buying your holiday meals, buying holiday presents.
City leaders say they're continuing to ask for clarity from federal agencies while working to remind residents here of their rights. Libby Cathy, 10 TV News.
Thank you, Libby. Well, today we had a chance to ask Ohio Republican Senator Bernie Moreno his thoughts on the Trump administration's actions when it comes to immigration enforcement. And here's what he had to say.
If people are here in this country illegally, they have to be apprehended and deported. I think most Americans would agree with that. So it's not a very difficult thing to wrap your head around. ICE is enforcing federal law. That's their job. Anything other than agreeing with what I just said means that we should not enforce federal law, which is obviously patently absurd.
And we will continue to follow this story as it develops. And when we learn new information from the federal government, we'll of course let you know.
No comment.
There's nothing you care to share with any of your constituents?
No comment. Ask it a different way.
Well,
get the same answer.
Part of what you said earlier tonight during your speech was that, there's another hearing coming up next Tuesday for Mr. Dixon.
I believe there is, yes.
Could new evidence that comes out in court determine your vote if this were to come up again during his next term next year?
How could I possibly answer that without knowing the situation? what's coming up.
Little answers after Whitehall City Council member Larry Morrison voted in favor of Councilmember Gerald Dixon to keep his seat. Dixon was arrested last week for sexual misconduct involving minors. The failed motion to remove him resulted in mixed emotions among those in attendance.
Whitehall is allowing him to represent the community?
It appears as if Councilman Morrison's allegiance is more to Mr. Dixon than it is to the young people of our community.
The other 5 council members voted for Dixon to be removed.
We needed 6 votes and we got 5. So where's the outcry for our children?
Each of the 5 who voted to remove Dixon sharing they met with Whitehall Police Chief Mike Crispin to review the case and evidence.
We've already seen evidence that has been put out to the public in which, he has not denied it being his. He's described it as art in certain situations.
I'm a person that operates by data and facts, so I wanted to make sure in reviewing information that when I did take a vote, it was based upon sound information.
But Whitehall Mayor Michael Bivens claims Morrison chose not to.
Councilmember Morrison, you did very little to protect this city from this moment. You did not speak to Chief Crispin. You did not look at the evidence.
So I asked Morrison directly.
Did you meet with the police chief at any point to find?
No comment.
As for Dixon, he says he's retained an attorney and continues not to comment on the case.
Can you share your thoughts on what your council members said here tonight?
They have a right to say whatever they feel, and they spoke earnestly, and I accept that. I'm a pretty accepting kind of person.
Following the vote, he shared he had mixed emotions.
I've lived a big, long life, and this is just the latest chapter.
Where's Wexner? Where are you? Show up. It's time. It's time to answer questions.
This group, made up of former OSU athletes, believes the names of Leslie Wexner and Woody Hayes cannot coexist on the same building, and they want Wexner's name gone.
The Ohio State University to call upon university leadership to remove the name of Les Wexner from the football practice facility inside the Woody Hayes Athletic Center.
The name removal request comes at a time when Wexner has avoided multiple attempts to be served a subpoena regarding what he may know about the abuse carried out involving Dr. Robert Strauss. Strauss took his life in 2005. It defied all logic that Mr. Wexner would not have any knowledge about Strauss or his victims, especially given he was a board member during Strauss's disciplinary hearing and non-renewal of his employment contract, according to an attorney representing the plaintiffs in the case.
I guess what I'm saying is it sounds like it's guilt by association.
Well, my mom used to tell me that a lot. You're guilty by association. This isn't.
Ohio Attorney General Dave Yost says Wexner shouldn't have to testify. Quote, "None of the depositions taken today contain any specific allegations, testimony, or information suggesting that Mr. Wexner interacted with Strauss or possesses any information regarding any plaintiff's alleged interactions with Strauss."
We got the Attorney General making statements that this man should not sit for a deposition. It's hard for me to believe.
Ohio State confirms the Wexner naming rights were paid for with 2 checks, one from Wexner Charitable Foundation and the other from the COUQ Foundation that was controlled by Jeffrey Epstein, according to federal tax records. However, OSU says, quote, an independent investigation found the 2007 gift originated from the Wexner Children's Trust and the Leslie Wexner Charitable Fund and not from Jeffrey Epstein.
You plan to destroy buildings purpose-built to shelter children as students who continue the legacy of Ohio.
The Columbus City Schools Board voting Tuesday to demolish 4 buildings: Broadley Elementary, Buckeye Middle, Moeller Elementary, and the McGuffey facility, which houses Columbus Alternative High.
Thank you. Motion passes.
The move coming 1 year after the board officially voted to close the buildings. None will be demolished before next school year.
We closed it for a reason. We closed it because it was aged. We closed it because the cost of renovation was too high. We closed it because we don't have the budget space to accommodate the cost of modernizing that building.
About 24 CCS parents and teachers wearing black and holding a candlelight vigil for the buildings outside the meeting.
We are really coming here to honor and mourn the losses that we have experienced in Columbus City Schools.
Sharing their grievances with the board.
Whether they demolish them or not, the conversation should have happened prior to taking the vote with what could have been done.
And conflictions with the vote.
Leaving them vacant feels like such a waste, and knocking it down also knocking them just completely, flattening them also feels like a waste. When I wonder if there's a way to reclaim some of the materials.
I asked board president Michael Cole if they plan to try to salvage materials before these demolitions.
That's an awesome question. So one of the most unexplored spaces is just that. How can we identify other opportunities to utilize our assets in a way that ideally closes gaps within the community? Those conversations are, certainly, I think in the emergence of being underway.
Cole sharing his message with those concerned.
We want to ensure that the buildings that we do have in utilization get the fullest amount of use as possible, that they have all the resources available for students to thrive in classroom with all the social-emotional, academic supports necessary, right? So at the end of the day, this has to happen.
We know that the better a child can read, the more likely it is that they will succeed.
And Governor DeWine believes the science of reading is the best way to teach young children to read. It uses phonics to build vocabulary by having students sound out words.
We're making great strides in our K-12 schools. We're not done.
A law passed in 2023 requires teaching colleges and universities to align with the science of reading alone for instructing future teachers. The governor pointed out the results of the state audit, showing 33 schools in full alignment, 5 in partial alignment, and 10 not in alignment.
All 10 of these colleges were found to have at least one instance of using the banned training in their material.
Ohio State University is 100% compliant on a long list of metrics for the science of reading, but did have several instances of using banned or outdated materials. An OSU spokesperson says the university is updating the material to fully comply, adding, Ohio State is committed to enhancing excellence in preparing the next generation of Ohio's teachers, with the science of reading serving as a cornerstone of our research and instructional practices. Ohio Education Association President Jeff Wensing says implementing the science of reading in Ohio's public schools is going fairly well. While he believes teachers are the best judge of what works for their students, he says the OEA appreciates the governor's focus on making sure kids become good readers.
We believe that a focus on literacy will produce successful adults, lifelong learners, terrific readers.
Now the clock is ticking for the universities to fully comply.
If you can't read or can't read well and struggle, it's very unfair. Each student has that right. And we have to look at this as a moral imperative, and we have to look at this as a right, and that's why we cannot deviate from this.
One life lost is one too many. We need not allow that to become cliche.
2 years ago, the mothers of murdered Columbus children set an ambitious goal: get Columbus under triple digits for homicides by 2027. With 2 weeks left in December, they're on track to see it realized 2 years early.
If the community makes good decisions and we stay the course, we'll be under 100 homicides for the first time since 2015. And that in itself deserves to be broadcast.
According to Columbus Police, the city saw 124 homicide investigations last year. For this year, as of Monday, that number is 81, the lowest in more than a decade.
Of those 81 homicides this year, we've solved 69 of them for an 85.2% solve rate. Only 14 days remaining in 2025. It seems we can hug one another for reaching our pledged goal to be under triple digits. I want to see some hugs in this room because we love each other, right?
It's a humbling experience because it's twofold. You have 81 souls, 81 families, 81 people that are lost. So you want to make sure you honor that. You want to celebrate the momentum and and give the community motivation to continue the work.
Melissa Thomas St. Clair, who founded Mothers of Murdered Columbus Children, says Operation Under Triple Digits isn't about a number. It's about sustaining change.
Let us be clear, this is not a celebration. This is hope. This is evidence that intentional collaboration saved lives.
Leaders attribute the downward trend to community relationships and accountability.
It happened because the power of partnership.
The changes that have been made in Columbus Division of Police, the relationships between community and law enforcement, and then our prosecutor's office, they're really looking at how do we hold people accountable, because accountability is a deterrent. And I think those two encompass, and people are tired of being hurt and hurting people.
Yolanda Vaughn, Josiah Mason. That in the days that lay ahead, we will look at digits going down further and further and further until every day we celebrate.
And if you're wondering how to be a part of this, the Under Triple Digits Pledge is available online. You can find a link to it inside this story on our website at 10tv.com. Reporting in Columbus, Libby Cathy, 10TV News.
The decorations are up. The gifts are chosen.
All right, well, here's mine.
It's time for wrapping.
I think I'm okay. I mean, it's been a minute, but I think I'm a mom, so I didn't lose my touch, I don't think.
It's a special Christmas celebration inside the Ohio Reformatory for Women in Marysville.
My son is 10 and my daughter is 7.
Paris Dickinson will soon welcome her family.
I think one of the biggest challenges is parenting from prison, so just having an opportunity that ORW gives us to be with my kids it's a blessing.
As she wraps their gifts, Paris recalls her favorite Christmas memories.
Waking up and seeing their face and seeing how excited they are to open that gift, stuff like that I miss.
The moms at ORW are given the chance to select presents for their kids from a special list.
So this is a water bottle for my daughter, and you can decorate it.
Created by the 4-7, a ministry based on Ephesians 4:7.
They're still parents even while they're here, and their children need them as much as they need the love and support of their families.
The 4-7 calls this ministry Christmas Miracles, creating connection with families touched by the justice system.
It makes me emotional because they are what I look forward to from the time I wake up, from the time I go to sleep, and I just can't wait to see them today.
And with the final bows and tags in place.
And that's it.
Okay, do you feel ready?
I think so.
It's time for families to arrive.
Hi! I love you. Give me a kiss.
Paris gets her Christmas wish.
Your hair looks cute. Come here. I love you.
To be with her kids.
They've been waiting on you to do the cookies.
They decorate cookies, take family pictures, and celebrate simply being together. And of course, they open presents.
3, 2, 1.
The wrapping paper rips to reveal the ways Mom always has her kids in mind.
You can decorate it at home, though. Okay?
And just like every Christmas, it all goes so fast. Paris is taking it all in.
Don't take it for granted, especially with your loved ones and your young ones. Just hold them close and cherish the moments that you have.
This Christmas may not look like years past, but there is joy and gratitude for a Christmas miracle.
People think that prison is like something bad, but really it's a rehabilitation. I feel like this event brings a lot of joy and normalcy in our hearts and in our minds, and I think that it feeds us in a good way. This event is a miracle, and it is a Christmas miracle. I love you. You look so pretty.
Station Aken, 10 TV News.
Both born in Ohio, Lois and William Hall married at just 18 and 19 years old.
60 years, and I'd love to see another 50.
Decades have passed, but the couple says their love has never wavered.
And she's so bright and cheery and never gets down, so, it just lifts me up all the time.
And he's always been very considerate of me.
Their wedding rings have been a symbol of love over the decades. So on their drive up from Florida, when they pulled into a rest stop just outside Columbus, they had no idea what they were about to lose.
When we got in, I pulled my glove off, and
I think this seam got a hold of my ring. And I didn't even know it was missing. I didn't hear it fall.
They made the rest of the trip to Columbus, but this time something was missing.
I unloaded the car, came in the house, took my gloves off again, and when I took my glove off, I thought, wait a minute, I don't have my ring.
He said, look. And right away I realized, but where is it? You know, what have you done?
I don't know.
And he had no idea.
William says panic set in as he retraced their steps, calling every stop along the way. Within a day, he heard back from the rest stop.
She left a message and said, I have some good news for you.
Amazing.
Found your ring. It was so rewarding to us that they were as enthusiastic as we were that we got it.
Yeah, yeah.
It was really good.
The couple says this year they're entering the holidays more grateful than ever.
And he has it on now,
yeah.
And it's not coming off.
Reporting in Columbus, Krista McFarland, 10 TV News.
That's a wrap on this week's edition of Around Columbus, your look at the stories shaping Central Ohio. Thanks for spending time with us. Stay safe, stay informed, and we'll see you next time. And don't forget, you can always get the latest updates on the go with the free 10 TV News app.